So we have the start of a new Marvel event with Age of Ultron #1.
And 2 new titles from Image. We have Las Vegas and Sex #1.
So it's almost the start of summer, and that means another new Marvel event, this time in the form of Age of Ultron.
What, they do it by summer?
A lot of these events seem to start at the start of summer.
They seem to start every week, don't they?
Well, that's true. Yeah, so this is the new big event.
I mean, we've heard about this for ages.
We have, written by Mr. Brian Michael Bendis.
The writer of everything.
Pretty much. And it's, to my knowledge, it may be the first event in a very, very long time that doesn't feature superhero versus superhero. I'm throwing it out there. So, Age of Ultron, you don't get much details on the full-length story in this issue, but it's dystopian future. Ultron has taken over. Superheroes have been put into hiding. Dan, what did you think?
Yeah, well, I think we get the dystopia in this. This is very reminiscent of something like Old Man Logan, where everything's gone to shit, and we get these characters right in the middle of it, dealing with it. It is my understanding that we're going to go back even as soon as the second issue and find out actually what happened and how the fall kind of takes place. First of all, we need more shiny covers. Can someone make that?
Shiny.
I wasn't buying comic books in the 90s, or at least not for a large part.
But he wants his holographic covers back, god dang it.
I do, and it's perfect for this. So anyway, there's that. I got to the comic book shop on Thursday this week, so as a result, I saw a lot of stuff online. Not a lot of it positive, so I was a bit nervous going into it. I have to say, I like this quite a bit. I liked it quite a bit. There are some moments where the paneling gets in the way of the storytelling. There are a few moments where, you know, that thing happens, especially because a lot of this book takes place on the double page. A lot of double page layout, which I think it works really well for this type of story. It has a feel about it. It has a tone about it, and I think sometimes that needs to be clearer. That could be better. You know, you have that thing where your eyes slip and you're reading something, you're like, no, that's not quite right, and you know, that's a problem. It's not a huge problem. It usually rectifies itself straight away, but I'd like it better. Having said that, as I alluded to, it's very Old Man Logan. Like, I got a return to those kind of feelings of shit's gone down, and there's the question of what happened. I really enjoyed Hitch's art. I thought it was really solid. I like his sort of not very detailed at times character designs, especially in the sort of medium shots. You get this sort of scratchiness of characters, which I liked a lot. I liked the way that Hawkeye's the lead, basically. I just thought it was really cool, with moments that could be clearer, but a lot of questions to be answered that I'm excited to see answered. So I enjoyed it a lot. Love the cover. And
interesting. Well, first off, one thing I am going to say is the villain, or one of the villains in this, the Owl or Owlie, or he's called something like that. He's a Daredevil villain. He has cropped up quite a number of times this week. In this, in Daredevil End of Days, in Daredevil, he just keeps showing up. It's really quite bizarre. But that's just a little side. I don't mean to sound like a hipster of comics, but two big
having said that, you're about to.
I'm about to. Because, like, I know Brian Michael Bendis is the main guy at Marvel, and I know just underneath him is Jonathan Hickman, and those are the two big names of Marvel, but I don't like either of them in singles. Like, I really don't like reading their books like this. I have contested that I am going to put Age of Ultron into my trades reading. This will be the only issue I pick up unless we read it for the show, because I just did not enjoy it. I feel as though it gives you so many grand schemes in the first issue and tells you so very little that, like, and not like in a Grant Morrison way where it's like, I tell you nothing, but later on down the line it'll all make sense. Like, I know it'll make sense in the next issue, but they told me so little that I'm not interested to get there.
Well, what else did you want?
I don't, like, for instance, I know in the very next issue, it's going to be how we got to this. But I would rather have had the first few pages of this and then have dived straight into that. You know, give me some sort of intrigue.
We got something like that. We got like Hank Pym created Ultron, blah blah blah, and now we're here. But so I mean, I disagree. I think the strength of this was that it did start kind of in the middle of things, and we did get this sort of mixed up storytelling where we get to ask questions. That's kind of one of the things I really liked about it.
I just found it a lot of shots of a dystopian future, a lot of burnt out cities and things like that, and I found the whole Hawkeye thing not overly interesting. You know, the main thing that I enjoyed was when they brought Captain America into it. Like, I was interested to see. Yeah, exactly. On the very last page, I'm really excited to see what he does, but again, I think I'm just going to buy it and trade when it all finishes.
All right, I really liked it. The next book we're talking about today is a book that if you don't already own, you can't get it. Haha. Because
he hasn't got it.
Because once again, it's a new Image title. It's called Sex. So it's gonna sell.
Said a naughty word.
And it is based. I had no idea what this was about going in.
Coming out, do you know what it's about?
Yeah, so that's good. That's a point in its favor. What it essentially is this metropolis called Saturn City. Saturn City, is that what it's called? And we get this sort of Oliver Queen figure returning to his city and his company, and some intrigue about his future and past. So it's as vague as that. What did you think of Sex, #1 from Image?
So unlike Age of Ultron, where it was kind of vague and you didn't really get too much from the first one, Image have a brilliant ability to kind of drop you in the middle of a universe that you have no pre-existing knowledge about, and like they won't explain it very well. Like they will just dive straight in and you have to just kind of figure it out amongst yourself. And I really like that about this book. And yeah, I found it really intriguing. I love the art style, the changing color palettes in there, the almost different art styles when it comes to the coloring is just absolutely incredible. And I said this to some people this week about reading this book that, you know, I tend to find time to read books a lot of the time on public transport and things like that. You know, I'll read a book on the bus or something like that. I refuse to read any Image title anymore in public because there are just pages where you'll be flicking through and you're like, oh, that's a thing that's happening. Oh my God, that's a thing that's happening. Like, this is dirty.
Yeah.
I mean, artistically dirty, but it is dirty.
I mean, it got to a point where I was sitting on the tube reading this, like, you can't even attempt to justify a neon shaded clitoris. You can't, like, you just can't. So I had to go, in the end, I had to just go, fuck it.
Can someone please register that domain? neonshadedclitoris.com.
I
loved it, by the way, and yeah, I'm definitely going to keep buying it.
I also liked it quite a bit. You're right, the art, the kind of contrast between the muted greys and blues and that more neon color palette to show the everyday reality and to show this sort of seedy underworld, the red light district-esque thing, you know, that and you're right, they do drop you in a universe and don't explain much about it. The one criticism I do have of the art is that I found the character designs lacking detail. I found them very similar to one another.
I did get a little bit lost.
Yeah, to the extent where I'm like, is that the guy I was seeing before?
Yeah, I know exactly the scene you mean. In the bar.
They are not as defined as they should be, but the backgrounds and the specifically the color palette is stunning. The story, I think, was good, and I think the promise of it, some of the ideas that it sets up, will make this a great story if they're given time and patience to grow. Something specifically is set up whereby it's like, he was once this and he might be again. We need not to get that till 7-8 issues. We need to let that play out. So A lot of promise and very distinctive, cool look. You also read another Image title this week.
Yes, I did. Lost Vegas by, is it Jim McCann, I want to say? Yes, Jim McCann, who we have talked about on this show before with Mind the Gap. Back at Image, new book. It's essentially about a con man who gets caught in the act, and as a result, he's sent to this prison ship. But the difference with it is it's a floating Vegas on a ship, and all the prisoners act as kind of bartenders and waiters, and they have to work for tips, and if they get enough tips one day, that's when they get released.
Yeah.
And he, instead of playing the suckers game, he's going to play the odds, and he's going to try his best to break out. I love this book. I mean, Image, just every time they bring out a new #1, I have to buy it, because the vast majority of the time, they just nail it. Every single time. Artwork is amazing. The variant covers, I don't know if you saw any of them.
Oh, yeah,
but
I did
we
see
got Francesco Francavilla,
The Francavilla cover was amazing.
Scotty Young one was my favourite, and I was annoyed that none of the comic book shops had any of the variants, because I would really like to have gotten them. But even this one, the double spread cover, fantastic, and I absolutely loved it. I know you flicked through it.
I didn't get a chance to read it. I'm definitely going to, as you say. Image knock it out the park almost every time.
Yeah, they really do it.
The winner of last week's comic book will be on the screen right now. If you want to win this week's book, which is Age of Ultron #1, that can be yours. Just make sure you leave a comment on this video.
Yep. Also, feel free to follow us on Twitter. You don't have to. You can do, though.
Can do if you want.
It's at Comic Book Show 1.
Yeah, in the meantime, enjoy... We hope you enjoyed today's show. See us on Wednesday for a very exciting new revamp, almost, of Who Wins in our search to find the greatest superhero of all time.
Yep. And then on Friday, it's the big episode, our Red Nose Day special, where Dale will be getting a Quentin Quire done.
We will definitely be seeing you then. You can't even attempt to justify a neon-shaded clitoris. You can't, you just can't.